I'd like to ask you about something in the Wayback Machine, Participation 2000, a project that you are very passionate about, training that next generation of political operatives and people involved in campaigns. It's 20 years later. What was learned from that experience and what kinds of folks came out of that? Some of that training happened here at the University of Texas.
Well, she's referring to a program that Dick Celeste, the governor of Ohio, when he left office, he gave this to me. I was a senator. And it trained people on how to do politics. And we've had a lot of very outstanding people who've come out and run campaigns all across America. I did it for 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and then turned it back. And we got to realize that, you know, in 2016, 100 million people in this country did not vote. Over 18. 100 million did not vote. Trump won Wisconsin by 17,000 votes. And so we have a...
Not the first election, though, in which turnout was lower than it should have been, right? Everybody should vote.
Everybody should vote, but even at the peak, I think we had like max 58% turnout.
Is the reason people don't vote, Senator, because we're not giving them a reason to vote, or because we've actually aggressively told people government is bad, public service is bad, politics is bad, and people have turned away from it as a response to that?
Who is the we in your question?
I think we all of us. Well, probably. Look, I'll cop to the media having a role in presenting a garbage fire essentially every 4 years, right?
I think there are 3 problems. The media being the 4th. The first problem is there's way too much money in politics. When I ran the first time, I spent $1.6 million.
For the Senate?
In 1978, primary and general. John Corzine ran in 2000. That's 20 years ago, and spent $60 million. Much of it his own money.
Right.
We can solve that with a constitutional amendment that says federal, state, and local government may limit the amount of money in a campaign. If we don't do the amendment, we have to do a Supreme Court that says money is speech. You can't limit money because you're limiting speech, which is a stupid Supreme Court decision. Second, we have to make it easy for people to vote in America. And that means, you know, in automatic voter registration.
Motor voter?
Not only motor, you reach 18, you're automatically registered. And then we have to recognize also that courtesy of the Supreme Court, again, there are active voter suppression efforts going on in the country. The Supreme Court decided in, I think, 2013, 14, that Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act that Lyndon Johnson passed in 1965, which said that in 12 states, 8 southern, 4 northern, that had a history of discrimination, that any change in state or local voting laws had to be approved by the Justice Department.
Right.
The Supreme Court invalidated that. What was the grounds? We don't have discrimination. And literally the day later, Texas and North Carolina passed restrictive voter laws. If you are actively, let's just take Austin, right? The Austin Community College. If you're 70,000 people, these are kids. We ought to teach them how to vote. There used to be voters, a governor, I guess, took all the voting machines out of the Boston Community College. Why? Because young people probably vote Democratic. We got to realize what we are up against here. So you need voting, you need a citizen responsibility, you need money, and then you need to be able to deal with gerrymandering so we don't have these districts that go from here to San Antonio.
So you think that voter turnout is something that is down because other people are deliberately keeping voter turnout down? This is not apathy among voters. This is an active effort by governments to keep the voting turnout low.
I think some of it is apathy. I would say apathy as much as, you know, it's a chicken and egg thing. Why haven't we done health education and pensions, right?
Yeah.
That shows people. I mean, we had Social Security. FDR used to say, you know, he came in, we ought to have a Social Security card. An actuary came in and said, what do you mean? That's not actuarially sound. This is not. He said, don't you realize I want a card because I want those sons of a bitches on the Hill not to repeal this.
Right.
So if everybody has their pension card, you need to be able to think in that dimension.
Okay. Sir.
While I'd like to be serious all the time, the kid in me has to ask a basketball question.
Good, please. I wish you would.
Yo!
The Houston Rockets unveiled their small ball lineup last night with a UT alumni who is your height as the starting center and only a single player taller than you in their starting lineup. What are your thoughts on that style of basketball?
Small ball?
Now it's getting good. Okay, here we go.
What do I think of that? I think the game is much different than when I played. And the thing that's changed that is the three-point rule. These people shoot shots from anywhere on the court. And therefore, it used to be that the name of the game was to get the maximum movement for the easiest shot. Now you play with your feet. Now you play with your upper body, and it's to get the shot wherever you are on the court. I think an interesting innovation would be for the NBA to institute a new rule. And the new rule would say that you flip a coin, and then you pick whether you want the first or second half to be a three-point game, three-point rule. The other half, it's a two-point rule. That would bring the center back into play, and you'd have not just small ball, but you'd be able to have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing center with 55 people moving off of him. Small ball is exciting. I like little people more than big people, even though that's relative.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Senator, for being here today. I really enjoy your voice on the radio.
Oh, thank you for listening.
Yes.
You just doubled my audience.
Right, you and me, that's two. Right? You just doubled.
I really like the optimistic point of view of how you meet the world, and I am very worried and very stressed out sometimes with the tone that comes through from our leaders in D.C. and or around the nation. I think that we're too polarized, and I'm guilty of going to my camp. Yeah. What is it going to take, in your opinion, for our leaders, our politicians, to actually work together to get things done for the American people?
This is the big issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It courses through every other issue.
Yeah, I think that I have an idea. I mean, there are only three ways to get things done in America. One is you get one party controlling Congress and the presidency, Lyndon Johnson, 1964, you pass your agenda.
Right.
The other is all 18 years I was there, you have to listen to the other side and cooperate, compromise, and move our collective humanity at least an inch forward, right? If neither of those are working, then what happens is you disrupt this democracy as we have it. And the way to do that, all you need are 10 senators and 40 House members. And what they would do is they would agree on bill language on pension, education, health, and taxes. Bill language and infrastructure. Bill language, right? Say, we are for this. And maybe some of them would be Democrats, some would be Republican, or maybe some would run as independent on this platform. And every other vote, they'd trade to get this done. You want any of the 50 votes, which means if you don't have us, you can't get anything done, then we want the infrastructure bill passed. Then we want the health bill passed. Right. Then we want...
You're asking for people in the center to take things into their own hands.
Yeah,
basically.
and risk. It takes 6 years. I call it 6 years to change democracy.
Right. Wow, that's great. Are you sure you don't want to run?
Can I come on up with the next? I just want to piggyback on this. And I watched the State of the Union like everybody, ought to, or many people did. What I see, I saw the president refusing to shake the speaker's hand. Then I saw the speaker ripping up the speech at the end, and I thought, this is all broken and it's beyond repair. And I know there are people who are cheering on the speaker for ripping up the speech, and there are people on the other side who are cheering the president for not shaking the hand of that evil woman. I know how this goes. But I looked at the whole thing and I thought, this is broken. What do we do about that?
When I said I was not going to run more for the Senate, I gave a speech in which I said, politics is broken.
Yeah.
That was 1995.
Is it better or worse today?
Right. It's much worse today. And it's because of what I said. It's because of the money. It's because of the voting. It's because of the media. It's because of the gerrymandering, where extremes and loud voices are rewarded and quiet voices that are thoughtful are demeaned.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the problem of our democracy. And there are more of us out there who care about getting something done, and we just have to assert ourselves.
Is there one Democrat and one Republican currently in elective office in Washington who you think reflect the values you just articulated?
Well, Mitt Romney showed me something. I never thought I'd say that the other day. And not just because he went against the president, but because he had something that's very rare, courage.
Yeah.
And to me, that was important.
Is there a Democrat you think who represents the middle that you're describing or aspiring to?
Yeah, I mean, I think Amy Klobuchar is a centrist. I really do think she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's Klobumentum in New Hampshire this week, right? Okay.
I'm not sure, but you might have a Biden Klobuchar ticket.
Really? Everybody tweet that he just said that. That's actually good. All right, but wait until the end, though, right? Okay. Last one.
Senator Bradley, my name is Temp Keller. I'm an education entrepreneur here in Austin, working with a great group of people to build essentially a family of quality but affordable private schools. So I have a thank you and then a question. The thank you is just these two sentences in particular. And truly, it's a thank you for continuing to think, continuing
This
to
is Senator
write.
Bradley's last book, right?
Exactly.
Indeed, yeah.
We can all do better.
Right.
So thank you for thinking, for writing, and for sharing, and these two lines in particular. In a world of rapid change, a premium will be placed on adaptability. Those who thrive on change will succeed, which means our educational system must not teach to rote tests alone, but in addition to including the basics, must develop students' abilities to adapt, listen, and contribute to change. So this is so near and dear to my heart and leads to the question. We, with our model, Templeton Academy, the core is this idea that wrestling with good questions is more important than reciting the correct answer, right? And you put it beautifully. Yeah. My question to you, sir, is what do you think are some of the key good questions that young people should be wrestling with today?
Well, I always, people ask me about what do they need to do to be a senator, right? I said, learn how to write an English sentence, learn a little bit about the history of your country, understand the imaginative literature of your country, know what your own values are, what do you believe, what's right, what's wrong. I mean, to me, those are the things. Schools should not just teach. I mean, they have to do the STEM courses. They have to do the, I think that's very important for the future. As Lee Kuan Yew told me once, I'll tell you separate. So I think that's very important for the future. So, I mean, I think schools have to understand their job is not just to produce people who fit into a role in the economy, but to produce citizens and good human beings. And to the extent we do those things, change will be able to adapt to.
Yeah, good. All right, great place to leave it. Please give Senator Bradley a big hand. Thank him for being here.